Man, what is going on? What is going on? We are back in black in the building. Man, what is going on, man? We made it back, man. Shout out to everybody out there at the core plantation. If you're doing what you need to do to survive, hey, man, I fuck with you. Man, shout out to the homegirls, man. Oh, man. Shout out to everybody out there. Erica, Shawnee. Oh, man. Brother Dave from No Compromise, man. Shout out to that brother James Youngblood. Man, what's happening with you? Man, shout out to the homegirl Belina as well, man. We've been having great conversations. We've been talking about a lot of things. This is going to be real quick. We've been trading information about books. She got me inspired to want to, you know what I'm saying, dial back into it. I've been reading, but not as much because I've been handling other shit. Shout out to everybody out there that is coming up with their shit. I got to do my vision board, redo my vision board, because I like to have vision boards for every year of what I want to do and what I need to do to obtain the ultimate peace of mind of accomplishing the goals that I have. So we're going to talk about that today, man. Let's get into it. And we're going to talk about your girl, Sheila Jackson Lee, and her new bill that's proposed. I'll go over there real quick. Let's get it. Man. Man. I was reading this article about Sheila Jackson Lee. And I'm going to read a little bit. Folks maybe remember Texas Representative Sheila Jackson Lee for her effort to secure reparations for black Americans. That's falsified. I ain't never heard her talk. They did a study. You ain't trying to secure no bag, no reparations, or none of that. So let's just get that out the way. I know they did a study, an HR 40 study, where they had Danny Glover and some Puerto Rican dude that's not a non-foundational black American talk on our behalf about reparations. So that shit don't count. We are still very overdue for that 40 acres and a mule, but Representative Jackson Lee has another fight on her hands. Another fight on her hands with Congress. Last week, she introduced the Leading Against White Supremacy Act. The bill is intended to prevent and prosecute white supremacy-inspired hate crimes and conspire to commit white supremacy-inspired hate crimes as well. Wow. Let's see, polling suggests that black Americans are pretty united on concerns over white supremacist violence. In a 2021 PBS poll, roughly 79% of black Americans said that white supremacy is the most lethal terrorist threat. But what does the bill actually do? The biggest impact of the bill is how it defines conspiracy to commit a hate crime. Under the conspiracy section, a conspiracy to engage in white supremacy-inspired hate crime shall be determined to exist if at least one person engages in planning or committing a white supremacist hate crime and the other person disseminates white supremacist information, including on social media. So you know they finna have something for us. That means people who post white supremacist conspiracy theories online could potentially face prosecution under the bill. So let's say Ben Shapiro spreads white supremacist talking points on Twitter and someone reads that information and commits a white supremacist hate crime. Both of them could be charged with conspiracy to commit a hate crime. This isn't the first time people have floated the idea of legal consequences for people who perpetuate white supremacy. After the mass shooting in a predominantly black grocery store in Buffalo, New York, people said Fox News host Tucker Carlson should be held accountable for spouting talking points found in the shooter's manifesto. The bill, which she's previously introduced, includes other measures to combat white supremacy, such as requiring the Department of Justice to track white supremacy-inspired hate crimes, including those outlined by the bill. Now, let's talk about it. Man, first of all, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck about that bill. Second of all, the dominant society, they'll have some type of loophole or workaround. I think it's a great start, but we've been talking about racism and white supremacy. I know I've really been paying attention about being, racism and white supremacy being talked about I would say since 2012, 2013, that's when I really started paying attention. I can't say nothing before that because I wasn't really paying attention. Niggas was drinking and kicking it, drinking a bunch of Bud Light Limes, going out and shit. So I can't speak to that. But once I kind of stopped and started really paying attention, no. People have been talking about that, with great efforts. Because if you read Nearly Full of Dreams' book, he says it. The goal is to replace the system of racism and white supremacy and establish a system of justice, meaning the person that needs the most constructive help gets the most constructive help. Foundational Black Americans need the most constructive help. Why are we not getting that? I feel like this is kind of a ploy. This is just my personal perspective. I want to get James Youngblood, Davis' perspective. I think this is a ploy because they want people to vote because 2023 going to go by fast and it's going to be time for election. And they want Joe Biden to be reelected so bad, so now they finna start, unveiling the red carpet about certain things that we've been talking about this whole time. I'm pretty sure now they're gonna want to double back and go talk to Ice Cube about the contract for Black America. You had that years ago. You didn't want to talk to him. I'm just gonna sit out voting again because I just feel like it's gonna be a bunch of bullshit again, and I just really feel like we need to just be on the same team as far as being in competition with other race groups, not being in competition with ourselves. This is the one thing that I learned. I remember a lot of elderly people would tell me, they'd be like, look, man, once you know that the generation before you has failed you in a lot of ways about, giving you, the information that you need, now you got to empower yourself to move forward and handle business. And I just kind of learned that. That's why I'm like, I got to redo my vision board and I want to have my shit laid out of what I want to do. Sometimes, look, let me tell you something. And I'm not trying to be rude or nothing. To be successful, you got to be an asshole. To be successful, you have to be about you. That's why Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, all these people that have amassed large amounts of wealth, they're assholes. They're almost psychopathic assholes because their bottom line is to get to the money. So we have to, in my opinion, kind of possess those efforts too. That's what I'm trying to possess. Hey, sometimes you just gotta be an asshole. Whether motherfuckers like that shit or not, I don't care. Because, I was having this conversation with my homegirl. We just talking about all the things that we struggle and we go through at the core plantation. It's like sometimes low-key, you just gotta be an asshole to be about you, to get to the next stages of what you trying to do to better your living conditions for you. And everybody around got the same 24 hours in a day. And I think people are doing better than they think they're doing. Straight up. I think a lot of our black folk that are doing, we're all in poverty, but unless you are panhandling, you don't have no type of core plantation job, you're doing pretty well for yourself. If you have a core plantation job that has decent benefits and you have a retirement for you, you're doing well for yourself. You just got to apply yourself. And I think a lot of times we don't want to apply it. We want to be spoon-fed it, and we want instant gratification. It takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and you have to be concerned about where you're going. That's the thing that I've been learning every day. You got to be concerned. I even heard Dr. Boyce Watkins kind of talking about it a little bit a long time ago. He's like, man, if you want money, man, you got to separate yourself from a lot of the bullshit and distractions. Because it's life, you're going to deal with that stuff. But how you respond to it is greater. So if you have a lot of distractions and you got a lot of things that are, maybe not even distractions, just a lot of hardships or whatever, how you respond is what makes you great. And responding, meaning is moving forward. And I'll say this like I say all the time, you have to move aside to move ahead. And I'm known for that shit. Once I get locked in and I'm focused on what I need to do, sorry, nobody's coming into this inner circle because I got shit that I got to handle, because ain't nobody getting up and go to work for me. And I don't get up and go to work for nobody else. And remember this, man. You can only rely on yourself. Even if you team up with whoever you date or whatever, at the end of the day, if you're not 100% of if you can't be 100% of you, you can't be great for nobody if you can't be great for you. And that's what I'm learning too. And generational wealth, the people that have it learn from their mistakes. So when you build your own wealth, you can know how to move. Everybody don't have generational wealth. I don't have it. Not bothered by it, because at this point, what you gonna do? It's fucked up, but you gotta keep moving. Move aside to move ahead. You can't, I heard Bobby Glanton Smith say this on Corey Holcomb's show. If you cannot change the people around you, then change the people around you. So that's what it is. So if your infrastructure, and me, I don't really hang out with people like that. And I'm the type of person, I'm gonna tell you, and I ain't gonna tell you no more. Because you're wasting time. That's a time wasting mechanism. And if you're already at the court plantation, that's already a great stressor to foundational Black Americans. So you don't have time to be putting more effort into other people's well-being than they're putting into themselves. So with this bill that Sheila Jackson is presenting, yeah, it sounds nice, but if it doesn't work, then what we have to do is move forward, go to the vision board, and have another plan of action. Hey man, that's my time. I'm out. You already know what my saying is. Guilty nigga, I'm out. Peace. Oh, my bad. That's another thing, too. Let me turn this down. That's another thing, too. I wanted to say this because James Youngblood and David be always having some great insight. And that's the thing that I want to say, too, is this. We have to have intrinsic value. You know what I mean? We got to have intrinsic value. If we don't have that, we have nothing. Meaning, we're all on the same page. No intrinsic value. No hope. Peace.